So about a week ago, I asked the community who the best Sonic rival is, and they understandably said Shadow. My personal favorite, Jet. He's underrated, and the Riders franchise needs to make a return. However, in this video, I'm covering 4 of Sonic's most known rivals, and hopefully, by the end, you can tell me who you think is Sonic's best rival in the comments below. Fun fact, the word rival derives from the Latin word rivalis, which means using the same stream as another. The year is 1993, and Sega of Japan has been working tirelessly on a sequel to the first Sonic game. Wait, but the sequel came out in 92. What's going on here? That's right, Sega released a fancy new dapper piece of hardware that plugs into your Genesis. Introducing the Sega CD. Gone are the days of blowing your cartridge off for that minimal dopamine rush like choking your Bart Simpson over a few pixels on a screen. Sonic CD's developers introduced a new challenge for players in the form of Metal Sonic. Eggman designed Metal to destroy Sonic once and for all. Metal's inclusion in the franchise sparked a memorable rivalry between the two.
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
His debut in Sonic CD set the stage for his role as a formidable adversary in future Sonic titles. After all, Eggman built Metal to mirror Sonic's abilities. Oh god, robots are such an iffy topic with rival discussions. However, in 2003's Sonic Heroes, Eggman upgrades Metal into Neo Metal. And eventually, Neo pulls an Ultron after betraying Eggman and becoming the Metal Overlord. Personally, Metal Sonic is an okay rival. I just don't see him as a true rival. He's a machine built by Dr. Eggman. The only time I would ever consider Metal a rival is when he's working for himself and betrays Eggman as Neo. So with that being said about Metal, let's define what I see in a rival. Some people say a rival should be the complete antithesis of the main character. I would say a rival is a living being who is either directly or indirectly in competition with another individual, whether matching their capabilities or holding their own. Knuckles the Echidna was introduced in Sonic 3 and Knuckles back in '94. He's Sonic's second oldest rival, and he's been a mainstay for the series ever since. Knuckles has always had a strong will, an independent soul, and an unwavering tenacity toward his role of protecting the Master Emerald. Albeit in the meta era, he lacked his much-needed personality until the recent Sonic Frontiers. Now, Knuckles is a great rival if you don't count the fact he's buddy-buddy with Sonic most of the time. However, when Eggman deceives Knuckles into believing that Sonic intends to steal the Master Emerald, the two brawl, and thus a rivalry that should have lasted for generations is born. It's also fun to mention that Knuckles got duped by Eggman twice. But despite these setbacks, Knuckles has never given up his loyalty and continues to be one of the strongest friendly rivals Sonic has ever had. Hey, this is your unscripted water check. Go drink some water now, you filthy dog. Personally, Knuckles is my third favorite rival. However, with him being friends with Sonic most of the time, they're just not shown to have much of a rivalry nowadays. This has led to some fans feeling disappointed with how his character has developed. However, I have faith that we'll see a more normal rivalry between Sonic and Knuckles in the coming episodes of Sonic Prime. In the games, Knuckles is still a force to be reckoned with and has the potential to become an even greater rival. Shadow the Hedgehog was introduced back in 2001's Sonic Adventure 2, and was created by Eggman's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. He created Shadow as a part of an experiment to help cure his granddaughter, Maria Robotnik's illness. However, soon after Maria helped Shadow escape, gun personnel gunned her down. Shadow was then put into a coma, and then later discovered by Eggman, who sought Shadow for his wrongdoing. Throughout the games, Shadow is shown to be a solid rival for Sonic. Some would say the rival for Sonic, his Shadow. Their relationship is a complex one. On one hand, they're rivals constantly competing against each other and fighting for control. On the other hand, they are sometimes depicted as allies working together to defeat a common enemy. The nature of their relationship varies from story to story. Looking at you, Sonic Boom. Still love you, though. Overall, Shadow the Hedgehog is a complex figure. He's often depicted as the rival for Sonic. However, despite his lack of emotions, he's not Edgy the Hedgy, as much as we love calling him that. He does have a soft side to him. One I'm not gonna get into here. If you are interested, however, the PJ Show has a wonderful video on Shadow that you should check out after this video. But now, before we dive into my favorite rival, let's pay homage to Cannabis the Hedgehog. Wait, he's a Japanese maple leaf? Let me dream, Susan! A character who may not be considered a rival nowadays, but he still manages to hold a special place in the hearts of many fans, myself included. Silver was first introduced in the infamous Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. All of us have our opinions on the game. I personally like it. I wish the camera were better, but this isn't a video about 06. Silver was initially tricked by Mephiles the Dark into going back in time to kill the Iblis Trigger, Sonic. Eventually, Silver understands he got duped and starts to aid Sonic. This sparked a potential rivalry if his character had been handled right. At least Generations considers him a rival. Jet the Hawk was first introduced in Sonic Riders as the leader of the Babylon Rogues. Since then, Jet has made a name for himself in the Sonic franchise with his love for extreme sports, high-speed racing, and his desire to outperform. Jet has a cocky and confident personality, always seeking to prove that he's the fastest and most skilled extreme gearist in the world. Jet and Sonic have had a textbook rivalry since his debut, although the last Riders game was Sonic Free Riders back in 2010. The lack of recent games featuring Jet causes his popularity to kinda diminish. Unpopular opinion, by the way, I kind of like that game, but I can definitely admit it sucks. Also, he was mentioned in the recent Sonic Frontiers, indicating that he's still remembered within the franchise. Ian Flynn, keeping the lore alive since Archie number 160. Jet the Hawk is personally my favorite rival, if not tied with Shadow. With his confidently cocky personality and his constant need to prove himself as the fastest and most skilled gearist, he's a wonderful foil to Sonic, and foils make for some great rivals. Despite the lack of recent appearances, he was mentioned in the recent Sonic Frontiers, indicating that he could potentially come back at some point. I also have my own ideas for how Sonic Riders could come back, and I'm probably going to make that into a video. So if that interests you, then hey, feel free to subscribe. It's free after all. Now, this is where I turn to you all. Who do you think is Sonic's best rival? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. If you didn't, well, you also know what to do. If you have any feedback on letting me know how I can improve, feel free to let me know down below. But as always, stay safe, stay frosty, and until our next communion, peace out all.